How is it going, guys? It is Sticks here, and welcome back to Is It Worth It? Today, we're doing part 3 of France Rank 3. Now, the reason why I'm making this video right now, face to face, before we get into it, is Rank 3 and Rank 4 and Rank 5 are tiers that will give you the biggest issues if not optimized properly and with the information going into the battles. Now, the reason why I say this is because there's a lot of good tanks in the tech tree, but the ones that will waste the most amount of SL, the most amount of research points, and overall will just waste your time, install you of getting the vehicles that you actually want. Now, please take all this information, add a grain of salt, and just kind of digest this however you want. I'm going to give my personal best interest on these vehicles for you guys. With no further ado, guys, let's get into the video. Now, you guys already know what it is. Light tanks first, then SPAA, then tank destroyers, and then medium to heavy tanks. For those who are new to this video, we started from the light tanks all the way to the medium and heavy tanks. And we go out throughout the entire tanks, telling you if those tanks are worth it. For the very first vehicle that we're going to be starting with is the AMX 13 FL11. Now, for the AMX 13, people would look at this and say, looks like a very fun tank to play, probably is a very good tank. And some of you aren't wrong about that. The only issue that I would have with France alone with this type of vehicle is you starting off with the M72 shots. Now, the M72 shot is not a bad round. It's just very, very hard for new players to understand and how to use it. When you land your shots well, it does massive amount of damage. Very, very good damage. If you don't, it can be very minimum damage to no damage. Now, I will say once you unlock the M61 shot, pretty much anywhere flat or even a little bit angled that you can pen through, you're going to one tap them usually. Not all the time, but usually. Overall, I would say the AMX 13 FL11 is a decent tank, but I wouldn't really consider it to new players to want to spade or unlock and spade. But if you're looking for a fun tank to play, the AMX 13 is your pick. Now, for the next tank, this is going to be a very conflicting argument, or I should say debate even. A lot of players will say that the EBR 1951 is a very good tank. It is. It's got good speed, it's light, it has a decent gun, which is from the AMX 13 FL11. The issue I have with this tank, and it's not even about the round that you get, which is standard M61 shot and the M72 shot, is it's not the weapon, it's the mobility. Now, if I'm right, there were different variants of the engine that was in this tank. Preferably, I'm pretty sure it was a smaller V6. I don't know. I'll have it up here showing what kind of engines that were in this. Now, I'm not saying that they should make a conflicting choice of adding in that engine into this specific vehicle. If they add a folder for this and it's a better version, better engine and all that other stuff, I would want that. The only thing about this thing is its mobility. Everything else is pretty good. Now, would I want people to unlock it and spade it? That's very hard because, like I said, for the other vehicle, which is the AMX 13, I wouldn't really consider it to the new players. It's a very clunky vehicle if you don't play it properly. Now, if you do play it properly, props to you, you're going to have a fun time. If you don't, you're not going to have a fun time. I would say for the more experienced players, it would be a chance to try it. Go ahead and try it. Let's go on to the next one. Now we are on to SPAAs. Now, in my opinion, I think France has a very good source of SPAA vehicles in War Thunder. My only issue that I have is that they don't have a dedicated game mode for you to use SPAA, so you have a guarantee of spading the vehicle and not having any issues of spawning in one and then going to, the point or, to fight and you just instantly die and then you have to respawn. Now, I will say this vehicle is very, very good. You get a 44 or a 40 millimeter gun and you get about 90 mils of pen with that 40 millimeter gun. But there's always a but. It's open top. Now, the speed's not bad, I would say, until you get most of the upgrades onto the vehicle. It's not a bad vehicle at all. Very, very good at capping points. Very good damage output if you know where to hit targets. I've killed tigers in this thing. It's a fun thing to play. Now, would I recommend it to a new player? Absolutely not. I think this is a void for the new players just so that they're not having a hard time playing the game. But if you're experienced in the game and you want to have some fun, I would definitely recommend the AMX 13 DCA. Now, the DCA is it's not a bad tank. Okay? I would personally say try it out and you would have some fun. All right? Let's go on to the next one. Now, my favorite SPAA, which is crazy because I don't very much like SPAA. I like to do the SPAAs first so that I don't have to deal with them. The TPK 6.41. This vehicle is chef kiss, as close as I can get to a really, really awesome vehicle. You get two 20 mils, which are not bad. You also get a lot of 8 HVAP rounds, which isn't bad in the sense of damage. What is very bad about HVAP is you kind of have to know where to hit. If not, you're just going to insta-die, and it's not fun. But overall, you do get a good forward speed of 56 miles per hour forward and only 9 or 8 miles per hour in reverse. You get a good engine. The acceleration is not bad, but yeah, overall, I would say it's a decent vehicle. I wouldn't recommend it to new players, but veterans, if you want to have fun shooting stuff down, this is the one you want to go for. Now we have tank destroyers. Now, I'm going to give a little bit of advice on tank destroyers and, kind of give you some wisdom on them. I don't think tank destroyers are bad. I think they are subpar at most when you're playing against advanced players in this game. The vehicles are really, really good, but if you miss your shot, it's very, 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 very punishing if you miss your shot, including with the 17, almost 18-second reload rate for the tank. It's got a good round on it. It's not bad. Same as the mobility on the tank. It's not horrible. But I would say it's a cast magnet. People love to target you. But overall, I don't think it's a bad tank. Would I recommend it to a new player? Yes, I would. Just for fun. Not to like you have to spade it, but it's definitely a vehicle that I would even recommend to a new player. Veteran players, they'll probably figure that out on their own. Whether if you like open top tank destroyers, then that's your pick right there, guys. Alrighty, now we have the M44's closest brother is the M55. Now the M55, in my opinion, is not necessarily a bad vehicle, but it also has some lacking abilities, I would say. The first thing, visibility is huge as shit. I'm sorry, YouTube, bleep that out, whatever. It is. It is very, very big, and it's embarrassing. The second thing is you get really good mobility on it. Acceleration is very, very good. You're able to get to some, spots where you're able to get a few shells off, but I wouldn't rely on this vehicle if you're new. But if you're a veteran, I'm sure you already know how to play the M55. It's a very much hiding tank, and it's also a cast magnet too. But overall, it's not a bad tank. I would say it's definitely worth spading or unlocking and spading. For the next vehicle, this vehicle is probably one, or if not one of the best vehicles in the game right now. The reason why I say this is it's pretty simple. The M36B2. This vehicle is what I would consider a multi-role vehicle. The reason why I say it's a multi-role is because you get access to Heat FS very, very early into the game. And you get access to the M80 shot, which is overpowered as shit. 185 millimeters of pen and 137 grams of TNT. That is close to overpressure, and it's just wild. Now, there are a little bit of some conflicting things about this vehicle with all vehicles. The first being the mobility. The mobility. The mobility in this vehicle is probably one of the worst, if not the most tedious one of them all. Now, once you get all the upgrades for the vehicle, it's very, very good. It excels perfectly. But stock, it's always going to be a problem. Would I recommend this vehicle to a new player? Yes, I would. Very much so. I think it's a very good tank, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it. Now, for a veteran, like I say, it's always up to the veteran if they want to try it. I'm sure a lot of them have, but it's a very good tank. You can't miss on a very versatile piece of equipment in this game. Let's move onto the medium and heavy tanks. Alrighty, so the very first tank that we're going to be looking at for rank 3 is going to be the M4A4 Sherman. Now, this Sherman in particular isn't a bad Sherman at all. It does have its issues of having flat armor. If you guys don't know what flat armor is, it's where the armor basically creates its own flat spot, which right here, as I'm talking, in the front, which weakens the vehicle 100% more, and even on the side too. Even though you get some pretty good side protection and all that stuff, it's still not good. Now, the round that you get is going to be the M61 and the M72 shot. Now, both of these rounds aren't the best, okay? They're the same as the AIM X13 and the EBR. You're not going to have a lot of free use in it. Now, would I recommend this vehicle to a new player? I would. But that comes with a little bit of a con, I guess you could say. Don't expect to win all engagements in this thing. It's not as tanky as people make it out to be. I see a lot of people thinking this vehicle is the most tankiest tank in France. It's not. Just trust that, okay? But yeah, I would 100% recommend this to a new player. Veterans can figure it out themselves, I guess. All right, for the next vehicle, this vehicle is basically the same, but there is one distinction that makes it a little bit different. it's going to be the SA-50 75 millimeter gun. Now, you say it's a 75 millimeter gun, and you're like, oh, cool. You know, nothing so special about that until you look at the round that you get, which you start off with the Pot 51A with 182 millimeters of pen, and then you have the P, which has 202 millimeters of pen, more than the Sherman Firefly itself. Now, this vehicle is really, really good post pen, but armor wise, not really worth it. It's basically the same as the M4A4. It's just, it doesn't have the flat parts here like it did on the first one that we showed. Would I recommend this to a new player? Not necessarily. It's a vehicle that requires a lot of patience, and I know new players don't have a lot of patience, so it's 50-50. Older players, 100%, they can try this thing out. I'm sure they can slay with it. It's a very good tank. Very, very good tank. Very good round. Very good gun. And yeah. Now we are getting into the very, very fun tanks of France. And I think probably one of the best tanks so far is the ARL 44 ACL 1. Now, it has a buddy after this, which is way better than this standard one, but it also helps people understand how to actually play the vehicle 100% all the way. Now, the first thing I will say is that you do get a 75 millimeter gun. It's the SA-44 gun, which is, it's not as good, but it still has enough pen to do some damage. 125 solid shot. It's not bad. The mobility on it, I wouldn't say it's bad, but I wouldn't say it's good either. It's got good armor, but the engagements are very limited until you start facing off more than 3 tanks. You're pretty much screwed at that point. Would I recommend this to a new player? Absolutely. It's a very good tank to teach how to pick your engagements and how to become a threat on the field. Older players, I'm sure older players have played this tank. This tank can be a pain in the ass for a lot of older players because they're more used to the pickup speed of top tier and all that stuff. But overall, not a bad tank. I think it's worth it. And yeah. All right, we have my favorite tanks in this game is the ARL 44. This tank is the equivalent of a King Tiger 2H. Now, the reason why I say it's the equivalent is because it's considered the King Tiger or the Tiger Killer tank, which is incredible. It's cool. Now, the first thing that I will say is that you get a really good round, but that is none other than accompanied by a very long reload, which is 10 seconds. Majority of tanks are able to get 2 shots off in 10 seconds. So you want to watch the shots that you take on a tank. You can normally one-tap tanks with this tank. It's just be careful with your shots because you always have that chance of getting a non-pen on the tank. Would I recommend this to new players? I'm going to have to say no. The reason being for this is because it teaches bad habits of rushing too far up and, you know, getting caught in the open and dying. I will say it's a tank that you can play once you understand the basics of the game, and you're patient enough, then yeah, this vehicle is 100% worth the grind. Yeah, let's move on to the last tank, guys. For the last tank, we are going to be doing the M4A3E2 Jumbo Sherman. Now, this is the 75 variant of the tank, which isn't bad, but it isn't good. There are some issues with the tank, but itself, it's not a bad vehicle at all. Now, the first thing that you will see is you get tons of armor in the head here, anywhere from 100 to 300 millimeters of armor. The front's a little bit less, but is very, very good at stopping most of the kinetic rounds. Even the front here, which is 114 to 140, which is not bad. It's decent. Now, I will say the gun that you get is going to be the normal 75 millimeter, which you get still the M72 and the M61 shot, coupled with the T45 shot and the M89 shot. The M89 is a smoke. The T45 is a APCR, which is not very good if you're new to the game. If you're a veteran, you might know how to use this round. But overall, it's not a bad tank. Just don't get caught in the open where you could potentially die because of misjudgment or just poor judgment overall. I would say this tank is worth spading for the newer players and for the old and returning players of War Thunder. I think they would have a very fun time with this tank. And yeah, that's it.